I can't carry.
Not even death can save you from me.
day.
What do you need?
Come back this way, have you? What, didn't you see enough action here the first time?
I knew.
I heard later that he was defeated. And that the Soul Stone were destroyed in Hellforge. All except one.
Oh, I failed, Tyrael. I couldn't do as you asked. I couldn't enter that gate. Forgive me, Tyrael. Forgive me.
Marius, give me the stone, and all is forgiven. Give it to me, Marius.
Take it. Take it, take it. I'm glad this is finally over, Tyrael. Look what the stone has done to me.
You haven't failed, old man. You've done exactly as you were meant to do. However, I am not the Archangel Tyrael.
Well, no. No, 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 no.
You have done well, Marius. Now I think you shall have your reward.
What have I done to deserve it?
Fail! The gates of Sescheron have stood for eons beyond remembrance, and you shall not breach them now. Remove your foul demons from our lands. We stand on the side of light. You shall not be allowed to reach Mount Ariat, and that which you seek will not be yours.
Enough! Enough! Enough!
I shall take your position into consideration. Well, it seems your terms are not acceptable.
What do you need?
High fire resistance, meaning that Miasma Bolt becomes a great tool to use against her. After killing off her pack with your Ring of Fire, swap over to Miasma Bolt. Miasma Bolt will fire out from you at your FCR cast frame. It's very similar to Firebolt on the Sorceress, and again, it does deal damage in a very small area around it, so if you have a pack of monsters chasing you down, firing dead center into the middle of them tends to splash some damage onto the other ones. If you find a particularly tanky enemy, and there's only one left over after clearing out a pack, swap over to Miasma Bolt. It's a lot easier to manage the mana requirements of it, and it packs a bunch all the way up until, I would say, quite literally Nightmare. You're also going to use Miasma Bolt in a couple key fights, most notably against the Grand Vizier and the Chaos Sanctuary. She runs into fire damage, and there's no way to shred it that early on. So in using a Mercenary and Miasma Bolt, you're able to gun her down. And against Talek in the first Ancients fight, he has very high fire resistance. Using Miasma Bolt can help you gun him down. The key to early game leveling on this build is going to be wrapped up in this Ring of Fire. Ring of Fire is going to deal damage to all of the targets within its radius. The fireballs are going to explode when they hit a target, dealing damage in an area. And the farther that it travels before it hits a target, the more damage that it will deal. Not only that, Ring of Fire will actually knock back enemies and stun them. So even after you're done using this for damage, it is a great stopping force ability to be able to make some space for you. In addition to this, though, you're going to continue to use it in small enclosed areas where coming around the corner, it'd be difficult to use your other skills, and Ring of Fire can go off very quickly. The issue with Ring of Fire, though, and this is on an endgame character who has 300 mana, as well as an insight ring on his mercenary, it's incredibly mana intensive, and this is probably where the majority of people early on are going to have some issues playing the build. I have a few tips to help you with this. In the early game, while you normally wouldn't, we are actually going to put our first 15 points into energy to get us additional mana to send a beat visit. Another thing that people don't necessarily know is that drinking a potion will always attempt to regenerate its full value, but if you were to finish regenerating and fill up your globe, the rest of it goes away. But instead, if while you are casting a skill you begin drinking a potion, you notice that while I am draining a huge amount very quickly, I'm regenerating through the entire value of my potion. As you can see here, these two potions have managed to last for the entire time of this explanation, and a little bit more on top of that. Always begin drinking the moment that you know that you're going to use a skill multiple times in a row, and the first time that it goes off, then drink your potion. This is a great way to get the most out of your potions without wasting them, so you're not constantly juggling them. That being said, on any leveling build, you're going to be using a lot of mana, especially in the caster build, so filling up your inventory with a few additional rolls of potions every time you go back to town is a great way to make it so you don't find yourself caught out without any damage to it. Minor call out to the Sigil of Lethargy. This is really important, most notably in the Duriel fight, as well as being able to shred some additional physical resistance later on if you come across a fire immune that your bounty will have to kill for you. The Sigil of Lethargy, whenever a monster is within its area, will slow them down and make them deal less damage, and it's even worse in bosses. This is why it's such a great Duriel. But in addition to that, Sigil of Lethargy is going to increase the damage taken. This is a fancy way of saying reduce their physical damage reduction. While this won't change how much fire damage you're able to apply to a target, it would make my mercenary as well as my pound demon do more physical damage to that target. When you're fighting Duriel, make sure to drop one on him whenever it would go away. And then if he happens to be chasing you when your mercenary dies, what you would want to do is cast it in front of you and then run through it, so as Duriel chases you, you have enough time to turn around and hit him with your wave of fire. Speaking of that wave of fire, Flame Wave is going to make up the majority of your DPS output for the vast majority of your progression until you get Apocalypse, but even then you're going to continue to use it. Flame Wave has both a startup and a short cooldown. When you cast Flame Wave, it's going to create a line in the direction that the Warlock is pointing and then fire out. As you notice, you can sometimes get a little funky line where multiple of the paths seem to hit the same targets simultaneously. Not only does the fire left over deal damage on, but the initial wave deals damage on hit. And with a perfect setup where you have the exact angle, you can make it so that your Flame Wave will powerful projectiles against large enemies like the bosses. Now because Flame Wave has a bit of a startup and a cooldown, you're able to cast other skills during it, so you can actually nearly double your total DPS output by spamming between them. While this is a little bit of a sweatier gameplay, it's going to become a lot more important when we talk about Apocalypse. But before we get to our primary damage dealing skill, let's go ahead and talk about some of the utility that we have available on the build. First and foremost is going to be Blade Warp. Blade Warp is a pseudo teleport ability where you throw a projectile and then you teleport to it. Since there's a little bit of lag time, you're able